Hi, this is part two of what happens in the end of the seventh Harry Potter book. When I left off, I was about to tell you the two options that Dumbledore was going to tell Harry. Those two options were, uh, well, Harry could get on the train and go to the afterlife, or he could go back and, well, honestly, Harry had a lot less uh, to fear about returning to that place than Voldemort did, so he might as well give it a try. Nothing worse could happen. So Harry chooses to go back. When he, uh, and so when he comes back to him, well, when he's back and you know he's still on the ground and he pretends to be unconscious because all of the Death Eaters are around him, and Harry all of a sudden realizes that well there's running sounds, and he kind of opens his eyes just a little bit and enough so nobody could see him and or notice, and he looked over and it appeared that well, Voldemort himself had collapsed whenever the killing curse had hit Harry, because it killed a part of himself, even though he probably couldn't feel it whenever Harry destroys the other Horcruxes. But anywho, so Harry decides to keep faking dead, and uh, Voldemort all of a sudden, whenever Voldemort looks up and he hears the voice, he says, "Is he dead?" And then all of a sudden he says, "You," and there's a pop or something, and a little cry, because he had obviously used his wand to get somebody's attention. Said, "You go see if the boy is dead." Then all of a sudden Harry feels warm breath on him, and a warm hand touch his chest to feel for the heartbeat that was still beating. Um, and then all of a sudden, a woman with blonde hair, goes extremely close to Harry's ear and says, "Is Draco alive?" Or whispers. Well, it's barely a whisper. It's just breathing the words. "Is Draco alive?" And then all of a sudden, Harry just breathes, "Yes, he's in the castle," because, well, it was obviously Draco's mother, um, and so Narcissa Malfoy, I believe that's how you say her first name. Anyways, and so she says, "My lord, he's dead," and all of a sudden there's cheers and cries of joy, and then Voldemort starts boasting, and he uh, uh, 3 times he yells "Crucio," and throwing Harry up in the air, but the pain never came whenever the spell hit him. You'll find out why later. And then he says, "We must go up to the castle." Uh, and so he said, and so they said, "How are we going to get him up there?" And then somebody like volunteered to drag him, but he said, "No, we need to have him where they can see him." And so he says, "You carry him up there." And then Harry hears sobbing, and Hagrid comes over there and picks him up, and they start walking towards the castle. And when they get, and so they walk, and Harry knows whenever they start to get towards the edge, because the air is fresher and stuff, I guess. When they get to the edge of the forest, Voldemort uses his wand to magnify his voice, and he tells the people of the castle that Harry Potter has been killed while he was trying to escape from the grounds of Hogwarts and run and leave the rest of the people to fight. And I know he's an ass. Anyways, and so they start walking up towards the castle again. Um, and when they get up there, the Harry notices when they get up there, because the light from the Great Hall, or not the Great Hall, but the entrance hall, I guess, is uh, you know shining down on them, and Voldemort says, "You put him down, or put him down, Hagrid." And so Hagrid puts him down. Hagrid's been crying the entire time, and Harry doesn't want to alert Hagrid that he's alive, just in case if he doesn't want Voldemort or any of the Death Eaters to know he's alive yet. So Hagrid puts him down, and then all of a sudden, there's a high cry it, it's sorry, tongue-tied again. McGonagall comes out of the entrance hall, or well, when everybody comes out of the entrance hall, there's a loud uh, no, like no, I guess. McGonagall shouts it, and it makes Bellatrix laugh, and it's a terrible scream of pain. And then Ginny, Ron, and Hermione are all yelling, "Harry!" and stuff, and crying. Everybody's crying and yelling. Then all of a sudden, Voldemort waves his wand, and it makes everybody silent. Because he casts some spell on them, I guess. And he starts talking and saying how, once again, how Harry was caught while trying to flee from the battle. He was trying to protect himself, and they caught him and killed him, and how no more blood should be spilt. And then there's a loud pop, and everybody's yelling again, and then Voldemort waves his wand again, and to make it an even stronger spell. And once again, everybody's quiet, and he starts talking again about how there will no longer be. There's an even louder pop, and everybody in there's yelling again, and then all of a sudden, somebody tries to run at Voldemort through from the crowd, and there's I believe, and then they fall to the ground, because one of the Death Eaters casts a spell, and then he gets up, and it's Neville Longbottom, and Voldemort, sorry, my bad, says, "I admire such bravery. You will make a very valuable Death Eater." And he says, "What is your name?" He says, and Bellatrix says, "That's the Longbottom boy of the two Aurors." And he says, "Ah, you're a pureblood then." "Yes, we don't want to waste any pureblood." And so, Harry's still pretending to be dead. And then Voldemort says, "There will be only one house at Hogwarts now instead of the 4. Everybody will be in the house of my ancestor, Salazar Slytherin." And there's a really loud pop, and everybody starts yelling again and everything, and and then Neville says, "I'll never be a Death Eater," and everybody just keeps yelling, and then all of a sudden he says, "Quiet," and he says, "For to show those who still oppose me what I will do to those who oppose me, I'll use this boy as an example," or something of that sort. And he waves his wand, and there's a sound of broken glass, and the Sorting Hat comes flying down, and Voldemort catches it in his hand. And, then he puts it on Neville's head, and it bursts into flames, and everybody's screaming and everything, and, everything like that, and everybody's yelling, and Harry takes that chance to get under his cloak. And Neville manages to get it off his head because Voldemort made it where it was really hard to get it off his head. And then, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Before Harry puts the cloak on, Neville rips off the Sorting Hat, pulls the Sword of Gryffindor out of the Sorting Hat, and since Nagini, there's not a shield around her anymore because there was before, because she's a Horcrux. Sorry, my bad. Because Voldemort was trying to protect her, because Harry and Ron and Hermione were all trying to kill her and everything, and Harry had destroyed all the other Horcruxes. There was no more shield around it, and so Neville sliced off Nagini's head, and then this, I'm about to have to get off of this one, so there will be a part 3. Just watch that one and you'll know the rest.